We're live.
We are live. Welcome everyone to the Copper Factory.
Man, that was a fast week. Holy cow.
Blink, the weeks as we get older start to go by faster. Did you notice that?
Yeah, we are old, so that makes sense.
Well,
That's
I
why
just
that's why
realized
that intro is
I am a I am a year and 2 months away from being 50.
oh,
Oh,
welcome to the club. You're gonna start getting those AARP mailings.
how I figured that out today is I was looking at some stuff on the marathon I'm coming up to run. And next year on my 50th birthday, Grandma's Marathon lands on my birthday. So guess what I'm going to do on my 50th birthday?
Run a marathon.
Run a marathon. Doesn't that just sound riveting? Most people are like, think I was nuts. That's not what they had in mind to do on their 50th.
As long as you don't do it and then regain like 30 pounds afterwards, yeah.
Well, I'm trying. Yeah, you apparently want me to gain some weight. You sent me these shirts that are like super extra large.
They're the highly shrinkable Oak Island shirts.
I told my wife maybe her and I could wear it together.
Yeah, or I figured you could wear a white turtleneck with the t-shirt over it. We used to do in high school back in the day. Oh man. Another amazing week for me. Two things for me. Aaron Rodgers back for at least
Ah,
3 years with the
boo.
Packers, right?
They say keep your friends close and your enemies closer. So I suppose it's a good spot for him.
Yeah. And the finding of the Endurance, Ernest Shackleton's ship. I've
That
been
was
really into that for many years because it's a great story of leadership. After failed leadership, how all 27 souls on that ship ended up surviving. If you've never watched Shackleton's Captain, I think you can watch it for free on YouTube. It's like an hour long, but
really, I
the story is amazing. I mean, it's cool that they found the ship. There's nothing on it because those guys lived next to the ship and took everything off it for,
that
I
that
think,
is
4 months after they
that
were
was
locked in the
crazy. That
ice.
ship looked like it's the day it went down. I mean, it's that water must be so cold that it doesn't allow bacteria to grow.
Well, that is true because I mean they're literally 60 miles off the coast of Antarctica, locked in a ice floe. They actually tried to sail away and almost got out of there, but they should have never been there in the first place. They got to South Georgia Island, and Norwegians that had just gotten to South Georgia Island said it's the worst weather we've ever seen. Don't do it. And Shackleton was taking a crew. They were going to get to the north part of North America and try to do the first transcontinental of Antarctica cross. 1,800 miles. 27 guys were going to go 1,800 miles walking and hiking across that to try to get to the southern side. They
That
said they
is
actually would have died because of the weather and the amount of food they had and everything. They literally would have died had they successfully gotten there. And that's another cool thing about the story. But Shackleton should have never taken them there once they knew what the weather was like. But he was having some personal issues, even though he was a hero back home, and financial issues. He was having an affair with an American woman, and he needed to make that expedition happen. He luckily had two Franks with him. One was Frank Worsley, the captain, and that's why that story is called Shackleton's Captain, who was just this incredible navigator that got these guys on the lifeboats to literally sail for days to get to Elephant Island, which is just ridiculous rock where there's nothing on it, and all they had was seal and penguin meat to eat when they finally got back to there.
jeez.
Then 5 of them get in one of those little boats, build a mast, and sail for 17 days through storms and everything back to South Georgia Island, the southwestern side of it. They have to then go over the mountains that no one's ever gone over. There's no map of it. That takes them 3 days to finally get to the whaling station. And then it takes 4 months because of weather before they can go back to rescue the guys that are stuck on this Elephant Island. And they make several attempts that when they finally get there, amazingly, all the guys are alive. It's one of the most incredible stories of
Uh, Thanks,
survival and
Packard. You
endurance.
totally ruined the ending for me. Now I know what happens.
Well, you still got to watch Shackleton's Captain. Then there's another documentary where guys go and recreate it. Of course, they're using a more modern ship and they got protective people. But the fact that they all survived is just insane. That boat was picked clean, though. The other Frank was Frank Hurley, a photographer. So they have all this actual film and these amazing photographs of this whole thing by this expert photographer that went with them. They had pets, cats, dogs. They ended up having to eat them at the end. I mean, it's a crazy story of survival.
No,
And yeah.
not
So
kidding.
anyways, I'm excited that I think on the March 22nd, History Channel is doing a special about Shackleton, the find, all the video from the find of the ship. I'm definitely going to be tuning in for that on the 22nd. I urge everybody to watch that. But go and watch Shackleton's Captain for free on YouTube.
Will do. You know what's even more exciting than your quarterback coming back? Aaron Rodgers is the GOAT is coming back. Mr. Tom Brady. We get him.
That's unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, it's not unbelievable, but the way that it, the way
that
it was done is
I've seen, I mean, how many great athletes have tried to retire, and you're just like, you're not going to retire. Like Michael Jordan retired and then came back to a different team.
Oh, Hooli posted the link for Shackleton's Captain on YouTube. Yeah, I think you have to watch some commercials during it, but it's definitely worth the watch. Let's say hello to everybody who's here. We got Davio. Let's go for a walk.
Mike N, Copperheads, Dane and John.
Ben, Treasure Warriors, Alan Kelly, Williams here, Mike N.
Hooli and JK, of course. We got to give a shout out to our wrenches.
Redneck Express is here. Alan said, did you turn that hat into the park superintendent before you stole it from the park? That is erroneous.
I am going to get a hat just like that.
This hat was acquired through legal means, ... as far as I know.
Beefagetti's in the house.
Beefagetti's in the house and said spoilers. I'm giving spoilers to a almost 100-year-old story. Is it too soon?
Yeah.
You didn't catch that on Netflix? Sorry. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about like what's going on in Ozark or anything like that. But good. Well, we got a lot to get through. We've got another thrilling game show episode. I've got something we're going to talk about in regards to a jar. And we've obviously got a little bit of us sharing with everybody Jenny Kiles information on a charitable event. And
we're
Dan
all
and I
about
are still
charity
getting ready. I actually put this little baby in a frame that has Gary Drayton's signature on it.
Man, you are 5 steps ahead of me. Mine is still sitting somewhere where my wife probably put it for me.
Well, I did this for us to mail to whoever wins this one. We've got 2, but we're going to do the charitable stuff with this and the Bobby Dazzler t-shirt, extra large, that is shrinkable.
Did he, is that what we got, was all XLs?
I did, yeah, just because I've bought stuff and I know a lot of girls like to wear XL just when they're like wearing them at home or in the boudoir. So, but mine, I probably washed
the day, boudoir,
4 or 5 times, and it's the stretchy fabric that does shrink. So the one I have is down to probably a large size. So I think if you give it a good, strong Copper Dan hot water washing, you should be fine. Ashley will have to do that since Ben doesn't like to do laundry, so she'll be doing that for him.
So just add bleach to it, is what you're saying?
Just add bleach and a couple shots of vodka.
All right, take your word for that. Guess what time it is?
Oh my God, you're right. I got to do screen share here. Let's see.
Are you up? You ready?
I believe I am. I just have to go to hits.
It's time.
Can you see it, Dan?
You don't know Jack, the number 1 game show in the treasure hunting community. And do you know why that is?
I do. It's because it's the only game show in the treasure hunting community.
Somebody needs to, another channel needs to create a game show. We can go head on head. I'm
feeling so relaxed today. I'm not even going to read the intro. We're just going to go right to question 1 because you guys have heard this.
Yes.
All right. Question number 1, Copper Dan.
A famous poker player and friend of Dan Barbarisi offered to pay the finder an amount of money if they could prove that they had found the Forrest Fenn treasure. What is that person's name, and how much money did they end up sending to Jack?
Who was the poker player that sent Jack money, and how much money did Jack get from
Who is this guy? This is not the guy I met. My goodness.
No, that is the editor of the Georgetown Heckler, my friend. And don't forget it. Cooley says 10K. That's incorrect. Alan Kelly says, I'd gladly host a game show called You Don't Want to Know Jack. Oh, Alan. Don't hate
Alan.
don't hate the player, Alan. Hate the game. King Catcher Jim says 10,000. That's incorrect. William says 50,000. And of course, Ben Napple, winner of the World Series of Fenn, comes up with the correct answer. Mike
20,
McDonald, professional poker player, 20,000. The reason why some people said 10,000 is 10,000 was supposed to go to Jack, and 10,000 was going to go to the person who connected Mike with the finder. Dan actually then turned down the 10K since he was writing the book, and he didn't think it would be appropriate to take the payment since he wanted to write the book and kind of stay impartial.
A question for next week's show
Jack
is
got all 20,000. Mike said, I'll give the other 10 to Jack too.
a question for next week's show is how much did Copper Dan get paid from Jack for their interview?
I don't know how much you got paid, but you made 30 grand off that map. You told everyone was going to St. Jude's.
I know.
It actually
it's 30 grand, went to Vegas, lost it all.
Yep.
And Michael McDonald took and gave it back to Jack. See how that worked?
Question 2. In an email to Jack by searcher Kevin S., he asks Jack if he found it odd that there was a pair of rusty scissors in the chest and misjudged what he thought they were for. Jack responded, yes. He then shared where they were located in the chest and his guess as to how they might have been used. Where were they in the chest specifically, and what did Jack guess they might have been used for?
This is a good question. This I think will take a little time.
Where specifically were the scissors in the chest, and what Jack guessed they might have been used for? Doobie doo, shoodly bop, doodly bop, doop. Wow, not a lot of guesses on this one. I think we've stumped the band.
Yeah. King Tut's.
They were not in King Tutankhamun's sarcophagus. Lorraine says on top. No. Hey, let's keep it clean out there, folks.
Gosh.
Jenny said on top as well, too, at the same time.
Wow. We know what they're thinking about. Brian Poppelman says, in a Ziploc bag, cut the paper towel with them.
Brian Poppelman wins. Here's Jack's exact words. Yes, as was Forrest, it was in a Ziploc with the dragon bracelet, which was covered in paper towels. So my only guess was he cut the paper towel with them, but that doesn't seem like a very good guess. Those are Jack's exact words in his email response. To Kevin S. Brian Poppelman, congratulations. So far, you and Treasure Warriors Ben have actually known Jack.
Now be entered into a drawing to win.
That's correct.
A free date with Copper Dan. No, I mean a t-shirt or something.
He says,
a map. Probably a map.
He says free date, but then you end up getting your car towed and having to get a hotel room.
Yeah, ask Shannon about that. You don't want to get anywhere near me when we're out of town.
Now we're getting really deep. 3-part answer, Copper Dan. It's all yours.
Oh boy. A 3-point answer is required for this surprise question of you don't know this searcher. What friend of ours has scaled more mountains, including free soloing, than any other member of the search community, as far as we know? 1, what is their search community handle? 2, what is their real full name as seen on Facebook? And number 3, what is their favorite number between 1 and 100?
Ooh. Who
could it be?
Mountain climbing free soloer. Davio 22 says, dude, that's incorrect, Davio.
There's your Warriors, says Davio.
Now we've got Davio. That's only question 1. What is their real full name as seen as Facebook? King Catcher Jim got what is their favorite number between 1 and 100? 42. What is their real full name as seen on Facebook?
Davio, I can't show that.
King Catcher Jim's King says David. No, it's not just David. It's not like he's Sting. We call him Davio here, but well, David C. Hoffman is not correct. David Hoffman Chapman, 42. It's not correct. David Smith, 42. Davio David Smith is not correct. Who's going to Facebook to look? My goodness. Treasurer says I'm right. Davio. David C. Hoffman Smith is close, Davio, but even you're wrong on what it actually says on Facebook. All right, here we go. Here's the answer. It's Davio 22. On Facebook, it's David Charles Hoffman Smith. His favorite number, as we all know, is 42. There you see Davio climbing. And of course, his hand out, reaching out to you to say,
is that Davio in that picture?
Those are Davio. And the one thing you guys don't know about Davio is that he also has climbed with some pretty famous guys. Here they are. And there's Davio with him. Davio, this is amazing that you got to climb.
Oh my God.
Congratulations.
I'd never noticed Davio on the episode of Batman and Robin before. He was the cat burglar.
Now, notice how Davio was climbing faster than they were too. It's because he was a better climbing superhero.
He was a better climber. There's a free solo right there.
All right, question 4, final question of this episode.
Oh.
In another Jack email reply to a searcher, Jack writes about the person that inspired him to make his 2019 YouTube video on bias. He further writes that this 97-year-old is the most rational person that he has ever seen. The guy's now 98, still alive, only sharpening with age. Who is the person that inspired Jack to make his bias video? What company do they help lead? And what was the title of this person's lecture that actually inspired Jack? Because Jack mentioned the actual lecture by name that inspired him. See, now we are getting back to the tough questions on You Don't Know Jack. Who was the person in another Jack email that he said inspired him to make his 2019 YouTube video on bias? What company do they help lead? And what was the actual name of the lecture that inspired Jack to make?
God dang, and I remember this, but I don't remember it.
Ooh, every once in a while, we get some toughies out there.
Even Copper Dan.
Margaret says Ted. No, it wasn't a TED talk, but that's a good guess.
That is a very good guess.
Just Ted. 3-part answer, Ted. Ink Mud says Warren Buffett. That's close. That's about as close as you can get. That was like us looking for Dick Cheney and someone saying George W. Bush and me saying they were a heartbeat away from George W. Bush. And it took another 2 minutes for someone to get Dick Cheney. We warned you, Davio. We said we're going to feature other searchers on You Don't Know Jack.
Yeah.
So tonight it was You Don't Know Davio.
You never know when you could be next on You Don't Know Jack.
Duty. All right, we're going to wait another 10 seconds. I think this one is really stumping everybody. Pretty hard to even Google search this baby.
You'd have to go probably watch the video quickly now.
In 5,
Bill
4,
Gates.
3, 2, 1. No, it's Charlie Munger, who is now 98 years old. He is the vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway. And his answer was the psychology, or his lecture was on the psychology of human misjudgment, which Jack highly recommends people watch, and that inspired him to make his bias video in 2019. Thanks for playing You Don't Know Jack. Tune in next week for another riveting episode. Well, maybe not next week. We'll have an announcement about that in just a minute. Also, we will change it up from time to time with live guests like Jack, and also ask some You Don't Know questions about other in the communities like Davio. Nobody got Davio's Facebook name correct, including Davio. So even Davio doesn't know Davio. And the reason why we play this game and what it's called, Dan, is?
You Don't Know Davio. Oh, wait, no. I mean, You Don't Know Jack.
Woo!
Apparently, we don't know Davio.
So we had a couple winners, though, right?
That's good. You know, I thought Davio's favorite number was I thought his favorite number was 22 because of Davio 22. So I just assumed 22. And here it's 42.
Oh, is it time to get right into another PowerPoint?
A riveting PowerPoint by the one, the only, Mr. Packer Jack.
How deep is an olive jar? A hairy topic in the quest for the truth. I was kind of, as I always go down my rabbit holes, thankfully none of you will have to suffer through a botany lesson tonight like I did when we looked at the I apologize again for that. I think 2 out of the 70 some live viewers actually liked that presentation when I did it. So, but what I wanted to do is we did have several pictures of the olive jar, not only when Jack met with Forrest at the lawyer's office, but when Dan Barbarisi was doing his inventory of the chest. And I decided to do some use high res photo enhancement software to try to see if we could actually see what was inside the olive jar. So obviously on the left, you can see the jar in the chest in situ where Jack took it back to before he retrieved it, just kidding. And all you can really see there is if you look at the white part, you can see that the chest is tilting forward. And so that roll of paper inside is actually moved towards kind of the southeast of your frame. Mm-hmm. And then you see it. It's obviously very cloudy. That jar is not clean. And therefore, we're not getting a clear view even by enhancing the resolution on there to see what is actually on it. But I wanted to start off with what it supposedly looked like before it was brought back to Forrest. And just wanted to read through some of the quotes before we look at these photos. Forrest's words when I was ready to put the olive jar that contained my autobiography into my hairs in the treasure chest. I studied the lid. It was made of tin-coated steel, which is not easily oxidized in air or water. Over time, those characteristics can break down. Although I'm not ready to say the treasure is not in water, I certainly didn't want moisture to enter the jar, so I melted a chunk of microcrystalline wax to the point that it started smoking, which meant it was at its thinnest viscosity. Then I dipped the jar in the molten wax deep enough to cover the lid and part of the jar and held it there for several seconds. I wanted the wax to seal the threads on both the lid and the jar, but I didn't want the heat to break the glass. After it cooled for a minute or so and the wax hardened, I repeated the process 2 times, increasing the wax thickness on the lid. The wax was petroleum-based and won't evaporate or deteriorate. When cold, it becomes brittle. That's why I wanted the threads on the lid and the jar clogged. In 2013, in an article, and then there are the jars. He designs them in wax and then has them cast in bronze. This is talking more about the other jars, obviously, but he places a tiny print 20,000 word version of his autobiography inside an olive jar, then seals the lid of the jar against moisture with wax. The olive jar goes into the bronze jar, and then he buries the whole thing deep enough that currently available metal detectors, now we know since this was written in 2013, there are metal detectors that go down that far, won't find it. He's buried about 8 so far, he said, and plans to bury more than 30. Several finished jars line up at the edge of his desk, and more wax models are waiting to be cast. That was in 2013. And then this was in Dan Barbarisi's book, Chasing the Thrill. Then he saw the key to the treasure chest badly rusted up against one of the gold coins, covered in spider webs. It had all clearly been here a long time. He saw the olive jar said to contain Fenn's autobiography. He took it out, read the few words he could. They were about things related to Fenn's life. He put it back amid the waterlogged bags and grime-covered coins and web-filled chest. It was real, and yet he did not feel anything triumphant, no sense of victory. So just wanted to share those 3 slides with you before we start looking at these photos. So here we have Monsieur Stouff and the legendary Forrest Fenn. And at the bottom of the photo, you can actually see the olive jar. And even in that photo, as you look at it, it looks like there's striations or lines on the paper. And we know Forrest said he took that to FedEx or Kinko's or whatever they call it, and had that shrunken down to go into these things. So can't really tell. I mean, they look really, really like straight lines. And so I was trying to determine, are those page breaks of a rolled up pages, or are those actual words on there? So then I started using high res, systems to look at it. And again, even getting in this close with the distortions, again, you see some pretty straight lines. And I was starting to think this looks like those are page edges fanned out from rolling, like what happens when you have multiple pages, when you roll them up and then try to put a rubber band around it. But then we were also thinking, are those actual words, because it's so small that they could be words. And I was just trying to see, is there anything we could possibly read on these? So again, here's another photo of Forrest as he's examining the items in the chest. And again, we see the olive jar close to the right edge. Again, it looks like a roll, and it looks like, man, are those words on there, or are those actual page breaks? Pretty hard to tell. And even if you zoom in pretty close, you still can't really tell. You could think that they're fanned out page breaks. You could think that they're words. It almost looks like there's a brown, maybe header on the left side that runs vertically. But you don't know if that's a fanned out page, because as you get closer to the rubber band, that disappears, and the rubber band would obviously be bringing the page down tighter. So again, really hard to again, just no way to tell if those are words or not. So then we have another picture of Forrest actually holding the jar. And one of the things that I'll go back to and look at these slides again is there actually is kind of a V shape on part of the lid. And you'll see that as let me go back. You can kind of see it on the top there, but I'll show it to you when we zoom in. And again, go ahead, Dan.
You can kind of see the words right on this shot.
Yeah, well, that's what you think they're words. So, I mean, that's the question. Are those words or not? And if you look at that kind of U or V on the lid, kind of think of where that would be a point on a V as pointing to south, and where it opens up to a U or the top of a V is north, because we'll go back and look around the olive jar kind of in its entirety as we get going. So Jack on the bottom of this picture, since it was in one of his Jack Gets Mail, says Forrest examining the perfect seal on his olive jar last June. Jack saying that he never opened the olive jar. He didn't get curious. He didn't open it up. He didn't read it, reseal it, or whatever. At this point, there's no reason not to believe Jack that he never opened it up and read it. I know there's been debate before. If someone said, if I found it, would I open it up, read it, and then put it back in there and seal it up again, and or try to find out if there's anything more in there about the treasure, so on and so forth. But in all of Jack's responses on this, he did not open the olive jar, including in Dan Barbarisi's book. So now we have Dan going back to the attorney's office, and there again, you can see the olive jar inside the chest. This was one that kind of freaked me out a little bit, and I'll tell you guys why. Maybe you're not freaked out by it, but as I zoomed in, I again was looking at the top of the paper, and there it starts to look like it may be pages curling up.
Yeah.
That are fanned out. At the bottom, there's something inside the pages at the bottom. And when I zoomed in, it really looks like hair. And to me, and again, you guys are looking at this on your screen and not, I'm fitting the entire picture on this, but as I zoomed in even more, I do believe that that's part of the hair that Forrest said that he put in the chest. When I first saw it from far away, I thought it might be a signature at the bottom of a page or whatever, but you can actually see how the hair kind of curls in the bottom of the paper there. So kind of interesting. So then we have this picture of Dan with everything out. He's inventoried it. He's standing by the empty chest, and right below him, between the chest and the nuggets, is the olive jar. And if you zoom in on high res, now you can actually see the pages, and those are actually page breaks, page striations on here. You can see that V on the top of the lid is actually pointing towards the southwest, so that U or V is pointing towards the southwest. So again, as we go back and look at those pictures on where that kind of U on the top is, but as I go back and look at those photos, believing those are all page breaks now, because you can obviously see where the pages separate in this photo, makes me wonder what words could have been read on here. And I think that's a little bit, I'm not going to start the conspiracy theory bridge, but on what part of these pages do you actually see words that would be about Forrest's life, as Dan Barbarisi put in his book. And then I just did this for Ben and Alan. You can actually see a piece of a 1963 $20 bill in there. And just kidding, guys. That's my tribute to Alan and Ben. Wouldn't that be something if we could actually see a 20 rolled up in there? Woo! Who knows? There still could be one. We don't know. So I'm just going to flip back to these slides and remember that V at the top, and let's go all the way back and start looking at these from where that V is. So you can see the V just in this general photo is actually the top of the V is pointing towards Jack, and literally the bottom of it is pointing almost directly east. And you can see those lines. So as you zoom in, I now believe that those are page breaks and not words that are now on the left side of
the one
left side of the V.
Slide you had really does show that that it's not words, that it multiple pages.
Who knows if there's 3 or 4 inches of words? I have no idea. But again, now we're seeing the V, the top of the V is pointing directly at us. So now we are on the north side of the jar with the V pointing. The V is actually pointing north. We're on the south side, but the north side of the V. And again, I now believe that those are page breaks and not words. And you can kind of see where that rubber band is, where it gets white around each side of that. And I think it's because that's the rubber band depressing the pages back down upon each other. And so they're not spreading out. Again, I could be completely wrong. Jar in Forrest's hand, V almost directly north on the opening at the top, pointing down towards the south. And again, to me now looking at that, I believe we're getting kind of a 360 of that whole olive jar. Here's the one where I believe you can actually see the hair at the bottom of it. And then finally the photo here. So I just wanted to share that tonight because I thought this was cool to me. And I don't know if it's cool to you or not. Just, not trying to make up content in the chase, just trying to go back and investigate things to see if there's anything we can find. And I wanted to know if you could see words on the olive jar from those photos. And to me, I don't see where you would see words. It doesn't mean that there are some that you can make out on this. It also leads one to believe, was it opened and then rebound in a different way? I have no idea. Right now, Jack is saying he did not open up the olive jar and that he actually saw some words on the outside of it. What's really interesting, if you go all the way back to the in situ photo, that jar is really dirty. And if you look at what Dan Barbarisi says he took it up, he saw the olive jar, he took it out, read the few words he could. They were about things related. He then put it back amid the waterlogged bags. So that dirty jar, and if it wasn't opened and then the pages put together differently, there's a question on, were there words that could actually be read on that? Not going to call Jack a liar because I don't know. Maybe there are words that you can see on those pages. But this last photo that Dan has, to me,
Treasure Warriors is asking if it's even sealed.
Well, that's the question. We don't know. And of course, under that caption, Jack wrote right here, Forrest examining the perfect seal on his olive jar last June. So again, could that be illusion or trying to protest too much? I don't know. Again, I have no reason.
Gallatin Ghost has a
Jack, but these photos would suggest that there aren't a lot of words that you can read when you just have pages wrapped around each other like this.
Gallatin has a great point. Where is she? Forrest did such a great job of sealing that jar, and he really did. I mean, you think that sat out there for 10 years and it did get wet. I mean, everything in that chest was waterlogged and those pages looked pretty dry. They might have got a little bit, just natural that you could get moisture on the inside of the jar just through condensation. But
when you have an olive jar, it's hermetically pressure sealed, right? We all hear that pop or that poof,
yep.
And the lid pops up. So yep. The jar itself can seal pretty tight. I have no reason to believe that those in situ photo, and again, I'll scroll back to it real quickly, and remember the back of the chest, when you see the dirt, most of the splashing and the dirt is on the front end of the chest, and then it gets pretty clean towards the back end, and that's where that olive jar is.
Man, so I see those coins. I see that coin with the on the top there with the rust spot from the key. It's like I want that coin.
Yeah.
Oh, I know this wasn't like the gleamy, shiny treasure chest when you opened it, but it's still, that's, you can only imagine finding that thing in the middle.
Yeah. So that's, let's revisit this page again, just because of the reactions that we're getting in chat. I mean, here's Forrest saying what the process was, and how he wanted to ensure. He does say after the wax was petroleum based and won't evaporate or deteriorate. When cold, it becomes brittle. That's why I wanted the threads on the lid and jar clogged. So I would believe that, that paper, even though the jar is dirty, looks pretty white to me. Not like it's been compromised, like the paper, all the stuff that was gross around the dragon bracelet. But to me, it's just.
So here's the question. Here's $1 million question.
Yeah.
They're having a little bit of an argument in chat right now on whether it was sealed or not. If Jack opened it and read it, does it make it worth any less when it comes to auction?
I think the only thing that would make it worth less is, number one, you knew that you weren't the first person to be reading it, and that it had been open. Number two, that he would have been dishonest about it. Number three, you don't know if it was adulterated in any way. And number four, you don't know if Jack's saying, yeah, I read it, but I'm not telling anybody what's in it, but he's maintaining to this day that he did not open it. So again, I'm not bringing these up to try to say Jack's a liar. I'm just saying, when Dan Barbarisi said he read words that were about Forrest's life, and you see, pages going around like this, where are the words that you're going to be able to read 360 degrees? Because we looked at basically all sides for these photos, and I'll shoot these over to Ben or put them on Discord later so you guys can.
I gotta reach out to Barbarisi.
Yeah,
he got to see the treasure chest. I got to see Jack. We're both named Dan. We need to have a beer. I mean, what do you think? I think we need to get him. I think we need to at least have him on the show.
The only thing I know is that Capro said that he's doing a epilogue, so he's going to re-release the book with some more things, and it sounds to me like that's going to be post-sale potentially. He'd have to wait for something to take place to make it worthwhile for people who bought the book originally to want to read the edition. So there's got to be something more to it. And I think he's probably going to wait to do another round of, interviews and things like that until that comes out, so that he's going to promote people to buy it. But you could always get in contact with him and say, hey, we'd love to have you on the show. He's a great guy. And I just don't know if he's going to be able to say anything more than he said in previous interviews.
Well, no. And I can respect that, because.
So there you go, folks. Hope I didn't burst your bubble with that. And again, who knows if there's words that you can see? Who knows if it was opened or not? These photos would suggest that it would be pretty hard with just seeing all these page breaks one after another with just a small margin of paper, unless the printing goes all the way to the bottom of each page, where you'd have, a quarter of an inch or something to read some words. That could very easily be the case. This could all be innocent, and but just more mystery to our Game of Thrones crappy ending of the thrill of the chase.
William says, I'm curious, after all the lawsuits with the bio, I think he meant to say, will the bio become public? An autobiography is useless if it can't be read by others, in my opinion. And I would agree with that.
Yeah, and there's some people that just think it's fly water and some other stuff kind of regurgitated or whatever. And
if I was a buyer of this chest, and I'm just kind of now thinking about this, if I found all that olive jar had been opened, I don't know that it's that big of a deal that it makes it that much less valuable. But then I don't have $1 million or $2 million to buy it, so I guess maybe my opinion doesn't matter on that. But
yeah, and I do think you can disagree with me. I don't have 100% inclusive, but I do believe this is Forrest hair in there. So that part is true. I believe that you can see actually that it's.
Well, he did say he put it in there, so I mean.
Yeah.
All right. kids.
Oh, this is other stuff. I've got other PowerPoints ready to go. We're not doing that tonight. It's 8:40. You wanted to talk a little bit about everybody's like,
Yeah.
no, go to the next slides. No, I'm not going to do that. I'll stop. So we should be back to you, and you can share your screen if you want, Dan.
All righty. All right, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Redneck Express. My pleasure. Just,
John, you and I are gonna have to sit down, and I'm gonna have to get a lesson on PowerPoint presentations from the master of disaster.
PowerPoint presentations that look like they're done by a geriatric.
All right, guys. If you do not belong to my Facebook group called Copper Dan's Golden Moor, you should head on over there because there's all kinds of good stuff that gets posted in here.
Yeah, you're showing mine. I'm giving away a Pac-Man machine for people that want to watch how people hack into computers.
Heck yeah. I have room down here.
So my company's doing that on the 24th at 1 p.m. Central. It's a live simulation by two guys from Barracuda Scout MSP. And they're basically going to be going through doing live demos of hacking, of how of serious hardcore hacking. And one attendee is going to win a Pac-Man machine. Pretty cool. Huh?
Anyways, if you scroll down one more after that, you get to Jenny Kiles 2022 Masquerade Tribute of Hunts for Charity. 6 different hunts with six different treasures to claim. And all you got to do is click on this link right here. Now, John, did that take me into her website?
I can see the annual Masquerade Tribute of Treasure Hunts. Yes.
All right. It worked. Yeah. Good deal. Scroll down. Here are the 6 hunts. You got Forgotten History Hunts, The Art of Hidden Messages, David Cohen, Domino, Ireland, TC Treasure, Go Minnesota, Mysterious Writings, and a bonus tribute hunt to be solved. So what do we need here? She's got this all laid out really nice. So I didn't create this magical PowerPoint, but if you donate, let me go down a little bit more here. Here's all the treasure hunts. All right. So for $19.79, you can buy in to all 6 hunts. You get all 6 hunts for $19.79. What is the significance of that? In 1979 was the year the original Masquerade Treasure Hunt by Kit Williams was published. But most importantly, where does this money go? It is going to go to 4 different charities: the Humane Society of the United States, St. Jude's Children's Hospital, Organization for Autism Research, and the samfund.org Foundation. So guys, everyone in this room right now, when we get done in 15 minutes, head over to Jenny's page. $19.79. That's like what, John? A gallon of gas these days? That's nothing.
Nothing.
You get 6 hunts, and there's prizes. You donate a little more, you can get in. She's got all kinds of prizes that have been donated.
$20. You could go to Tina Bar in the state of Washington and find $20. You just got to bend down and pick it up.
Yeah.
No, and all of it goes to charity. It's an annual thing.
Yeah, that's what I like most about. I think my next hunt, that's what I'm gonna try to figure it out to if I can get it funded, and then all the money is gonna go right to charity on the next hunt, not to the greedy Copper Dan. Believe me.
Oh,
anybody out there, any treasure hunt creator out there that's tried to create a treasure hunt for profit will probably tell you they failed.
That is not an emerald ring, by the way, everybody, just so you know. Somebody asked that in chat. Hairy hair. All right, I did. Some of you may not have seen one of Cynthia's posts And I just wanted to put this up there. And obviously that's a picture of Ojo Caliente. And she said, yes, Tom, it was recently revealed to me that the Firehole River was what Forrest meant when he wrote in the poem and used the word warm waters. I almost cried, even though it doesn't help with anything more. It did make the poem such more poetic and special to Forrest. And of course, Cynthia now believes in the 9 Mile Solve on Dry Creek, and that where warm waters held is Madison Junction, but that where warm waters were Forrest bathing spots. So I just captioned this because this wasn't on Facebook. I forget where it was. It was I think it was replying to something else, and I just added the picture there. It might have been to one of her videos.
So, John, you have never been to Yellowstone. That is correct.
That's correct.
So if we do get out there, I will take you to this spot. Very easy to get to spot. I know that bridge right there very well.
It's just, I just wanted to let you know it's illegal to bathe nude there now. You can't do it like Forrest did when he was a kid, Dan.
So bring your Speedo is what you're saying?
Yep. There's nothing fun with that. But
it's amazing how hot that water is.
This is where I got to give it to my buddy Alan Kelly, just to make him happy again, because Alan has been so disappointed. Some people thought this was Montana Magazine was a Florida slip up when he said, some of my fondest memories are of hiking and fishing in the backcountry. I once spent 4 hours up in a tall pine tree waiting for an unreasonable bull moose to go home and leave me alone. When he wandered into the trees, I ran so fast, I lost the coonskin cap that my mother made for me. I always wanted to be in a spot where no humans had ever been before. Alone, right? So he says, I spent 4 hours up in a tall pine tree, right? Then you go 2 paragraphs later and he says, I will soon be 80 years old, and one of my dreams is to die at age 90 under a tall pine tree, way out in a forest someplace, and let my body go back to the soil. So everybody who's been piling up on 9 Mile, we could just as easily go back and pile up on Lamar, because you can look no further than this, where is this one of the slip ups Jack was potentially talking about in an interview where Forrest said, I spent 4 hours in a tall pine tree, and then just moments later in the interview, he says, I want to die under a tall pine tree. And where he was talking about was obviously by Slough Creek in the Lamar Valley. So there's just thought I'd just throw a little wrench into all the surety of 9 Mile. I do like 9 Mile, but I like this as well too. And you know,
William says, rumor has it that Copper Dan is going to reenact Cynthia's scene on the rock when she went naked on the rock. Nobody wants to see that.
No,
not even my wife.
Yeah.
And A says, will there be another online poker tournament for charity this year? I'm positive I will probably put something together. Usually we always do it for to raise money for something because somebody, you know, died or you know, needed something, but maybe we could just do one just for the sake of doing one and raise money for St. Jude's or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're definitely going to do this and give away the Gary Drayton map, and we'll actually have the pictures of Gary signing it, so you have a certificate of authenticity. So you know, Copper Dan and I just weren't signing maps and putting Gary Drayton's name on.
Do you want? Should we set that up right now?
Well, however you want to do it. I think we had 2 maps. One was going to be a giveaway at some point, but I think we wanted to see if we could get as much for charity as possible. So your thought was to get it set up with St. Jude's, and then I don't know if we want people to comment on this video. If they comment on this video, they'll be entered, and we can start getting the word out.
Let's not do it yet. Let me get the St. Jude's thing set up. So this is how it'll work. It'll work just like the other ones we've done, where anyone can be entered to win. You do not have to donate to St. Jude's, but if you would kindly go to St. Jude's, I will set up a link to go to. We'll do that in a couple weeks. So next week, I'm going to be out on assignment.
Yeah, we heard there's going to be maybe some heavy action in the chase next week. So
we're taking the week off.
We're not going to schedule the show. Maybe Wednesday.
Maybe Wednesday. We'll see what happens.
If there's some big news coming out, we may go live, but we're going to sit back and take a back seat.
So no Tuesday show next week, maybe Wednesday. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
And then
because it's March Madness, there's going to be games on too. So,
yeah. Busy time of the year. Busy time of the year. Oh, I'm just checking. Adam Foddy says totally naked. I don't know what you're talking about, Adam, but I don't want to see you totally naked.
I don't want to see Copper Dan's coin purse, and I don't want to see Adam Foddy's bone flute. So nobody's going to be posing on rocks.
Adam, maybe you could skinny dip in Ojo Caliente and play your bone flute. And maybe Cynthia will video it. Now that would make content.
We got to get Adam. We got to get Adam to the States. Although now he's in love. He's got his new lady. They look very happy on Facebook together. We're very happy for our friend Adam Foddy.
Yeah. Adam's in chat tonight. He must be staying up late. Thank you, Adam.
Can I do an unboxing video, Tyler says, on the Copper Factory? Oh, Tyler's sending me something.
Yeah, apparently. I see where I rate. I got nothing.
This could be a pipe bomb, and he just wants me to do a snuff film live on YouTube. I don't know. We'll see. No, Tyler loves me.
Tyler, don't kill my partner. I don't want to do this myself. I have to find a new partner. And he makes really good PowerPoints. So if I gotta go out and search for a new partner, they're gonna have to like pull a resume together and
you at least got to get the Gary Drayton maps without any blood and guts on them. So nobody's going to want them then. Actually, they probably sell for more if they were part of a homicide scene. You'd start Copper Dan's True Crime. It all started when the Copper Factory went boom. Oh, man. 322. Mark your calendars for History Channel for the special on the Endurance. That's going to be awesome. I actually watched, they did the expedition in 19. So they've been trying to locate it for several years now, and it's pretty cool how they located it. But watch that link that Hooli put in. If it's too far back in chat, it's called Shackleton's Captain on YouTube. It's 1 hour. It's probably one of the most amazing survival stories in the history of the planet. It's really, really amazing. And how these guys stayed positive and kept each other alive the whole time is just insane.
My goodness, we've created quite a stir in chat. There's lots of people wondering what is going to happen next week. Well, I guess you're just going to have to wait and tune in and find out.
Yep, and we are going to sit on the sidelines.
Yeah, we're just going to sit back and watch things play out. Maybe we could get Adam to come on and play his bone flute, and then we could use it as our outro music. He
did. I think he tried it. I don't know if it was on Susie Fenshaven's show, but he was blowing his brains out trying to get something to whistle out of that thing. And he was being excoriated. People were saying, you're not using the right technique to blow on that bone flute. And Adam's like, I have tried to blow in every direction, every angle. He was all over that flute with his lips, my friends.
William, you're causing trouble. Don't be spreading rumors that aren't true now. Maybe we need to have William on the show. Apparently, he's got some inside information.
Tyler is now claiming he is not trying to kill me. So we now have that on the record. Thank you, Tyler.
On the record.
Yeah.
Tyler's a good guy.
Tyler, you may want to make sure that people are around you for an alibi when I do the unboxing. So
what happened to Davio? We give Davio I'm just scrolling back here. After we gave him his 30 seconds of fame, he kind of fell off.
He got his action. Maybe he went back to once he was there for the olive jar thing, and then once we were done, I think he was out. So
yeah, I'm just teasing him.
Who knows?
I kind of bounce in and out of shows sometimes too, if I'm busy doing something, or sometimes I'm just listening in.
Maybe he got the urge to climb and he just went back out and he's climbing a mountain right now. California.
William. All right, William, I'm going to post it. William said he's dumb as blank, but he said it about himself. So
there's Davio. Davio's back.
What? Cheers.
Guy's got to eat. So we will return for sure in 2 weeks with another brand new episode of You Don't Know Jack. By the time we're back, some crazy things may have happened in the chase, and I certainly will have at least one more PowerPoint ready to go by then. So, and if something changes, we will let you guys know. But Dan, the other thing Dan and I will be working on is for sure making sure that we get information out on how we can get the Gary Drayton signed map contest shirts, and Dan and I'll probably throw a couple other things in there and see if we can.
We'll make it. We will make it. We will make it a very, very good prize.
Right.
And so, because I know we haven't done anything for a while, we need something to look forward to in the community. And so for now, we're going to go with that until other breaking news happens. And with that,
Copper Dan, you and I have to talk about Treasure Island, because I think we might be doing a boots on the ground soon for that.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
We could be treasure finders. Oh my goodness. You'll go ahead.
No, I think I may be onto something. I read the whole book.
I read the book.
Yeah.
It's if you haven't read Treasure Island, do it. It was a little bit of a it's written so long ago. It was a tough read for
Robert
me,
Louis
but I'm not I'm not a big reader, so that could have been part of the problem, but we got through it. And
yeah, if you go back to the original movie, it's in black and white. Robert Louis Stevens' Treasure Island. That's a great movie to watch, and then read the book too. Read this book, because then
you're telling me I didn't need to read the book. I could have saw the movie. Oh,
you have to read the new book that was printed by the guy who's doing the hunt.
Right,
I left
because
it upstairs, otherwise I'd hold it up. But I think I'm on to him. I think I'm on to. He's done 2 hunts before. He's done ciphers. He's done other stuff. I really think this one was more of a tribute to Forrest, and
I noticed that.
Yeah, and I think this is less about Codebreaker Charlie, and I think I've got at least one boots on the ground for Dan and I to investigate together. So that's what we're going to be doing.
Hey, when we go off live, stay on Zoom for a second. I got a question for you.
And then you're going to leave it on live and record everything I say.
No, I promise we will.
All right, guys, we try to keep this to 1 hour, keeping our promise. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed You Don't Know Jack. I'll go back and write down who the winners were from that and from last week. We usually do at least 4 episodes before we go back into, what do we call it, Dan? The Copper Kettle. The Copper Kettle.
Copper Kettle.
Copper Kettle will have new names on it. I sucked at getting mailing stuff out. I'm usually really good with my eBay account. I haven't sold much on eBay lately. And so with work and everything, I just was like not getting organized. So I've got 2 address, Candy and JK, their stuff going out. And if we owe anybody else anything, let me know and we'll get that.
I think that was
well too.
I think that
I am
was
not giving away the.
Oh, did you? You know what? Devil Bud did not get back to me. So Devil Bud, if you watch this, I don't remember what your real name is to know what your address is. So email me.
Is Buddy Devil. No, I'm kidding.
I actually searched my email for keyword devil and I got nothing. So maybe I got rid of it though. So I don't know. All right, bud.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the olive jar. Hope you enjoyed. Go check out Jenny Kiles' website. Sign up. Give the $20. It's all going to charity. And we'll see.
Everybody in this, all 50 of us should head on over there and support that. All right, partner. Everybody, we will catch you in a couple of weeks.
Take care. Bye.
And